It appears Unrivaled has gotten its answer, and Caitlin Clark is out.
Unrivaled just announced their rosters for this upcoming season while simultaneously pulling off the biggest troll in sports history.
Unrivaled has certainly stirred up the sports world with the announcement that Caitlin Clark has rejected their $2 million offer, sending shockwaves through the basketball community. The league had built its entire marketing campaign around the idea of Clark being the face of the league, but her decision not to join leaves a significant void. As of November 20th, Unrivaled revealed its rosters, but the biggest surprise wasn't just the team selections, it was the absence of Clark, the player they had teased for months. The announcement has caused a massive stir, leaving fans in disbelief. The offer on the table for Clark was unprecedented, $2 million for just 10 weeks of play, a sum that's historic in women's sports, particularly in a league that hasn't even played a season yet. For context, WNBA players make around $120,000 a year, and even the most successful women's basketball stars rarely see offers on this scale. Clark's rejection of this offer is raising questions. Why would she turn down such an opportunity? Unrivaled had been teasing Clark's involvement for months. With cryptic marketing messages, hints about her jersey number 22, and dramatic promotional videos, fans were led to believe that Clark was a done deal for the league. This build-up created immense anticipation, and many saw her involvement as the defining moment for the league's future. But when the official rosters were announced, Clark's name was nowhere to be found. Instead, the league dropped the bombshell in a dramatic and unexpected way, creating even more frustration among the fans. In a letter shared by the league, they teased fans with a countdown for their roster reveal event, jokingly referencing the time slot of 11 a.m. to 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time. While the playful tone of this announcement seemed to add to the suspense, it also felt a bit tone-deaf given the backlash over Clark's absence. The anticipation had been built around her, and without her, the reveal didn't have the same level of excitement. There are several theories as to why Caitlin Clark declined the offer, but the biggest
This was the November 20th deadline that, if you guys remember a few weeks ago, Nafisa Collier said that by November 20th, all the players would be announced and we would get the official lineups for each team.
There seems to be timing. As one of the most marketable and in-demand athletes in women's basketball, Clark already has a packed schedule with endorsement deals, public appearances, and other professional commitments. Adding a 10-week league to her already busy calendar might have been too much. Additionally, Unrivaled season overlaps with other major events, including NBA All-Star Weekend, which could have further complicated her decision. But beyond the timing, insiders believe there may be deeper concerns about the league itself. While the $2 million offer and equity stake in the league were undoubtedly attractive, Clark might have decided that the risks associated with joining a startup league weren't worth it. If Unrivaled doesn't succeed or even folds after a season or two, the equity offer would have been significantly less valuable, and Clark's personal brand might have been at risk. Unrivaled had positioned itself as the future of women's basketball, with its 3-on-3 format promising to be fast-paced, high-energy, and more appealing to casual sports fans. The idea was to blend basketball with streetball style, which could potentially draw a broader audience.
It goes on to say 11 a.m. once again, and at the very end reminds you once again 11 a.m. to 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the whole thing about this Unrivaled League is when they are announcing new players, they have always done like a teaser video before they announce the players. They've always been about doing little mysteries or Easter eggs or trying to get people to like guess who was gonna join Unrivaled.
However, without Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball, the league faces a serious identity crisis. Clark was meant to be the face of the league, and her absence is a major blow to the league's credibility and ability to draw sponsors and viewers. Unrivaled's heavy reliance on cryptic marketing and teasing has backfired. Fans feel misled, and now the league has to find a way to rebuild trust and recover from this setback. The stakes are higher than ever. Without Clark, Unrivaled has to prove that it can succeed on its own and that its league has value beyond just its star power. While Clark's rejection is a significant setback, Unrivaled still has a chance to salvage its debut season.
So just last night, Unrivaled put out this letter where they said, "Dear management, what might seem like an average Wednesday in November is in fact a Momentous occasion. Okay. A momentous occasion for those who follow women's professional basketball. Please excuse blank from 11 a.m. to 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time so that they can watch Unrivaled's basketball club selection presented by State Farm.
Players like Aya Wilson and Lexi Hull are confirmed, and though they might not have the same star power as Clark, they are still highly respected athletes with dedicated fan bases. The league can focus on building storylines around these players, creating rivalries, and highlighting the unique aspects of the 3-on-3 format. If Unrivaled can lean into the high-paced action, creative storytelling, and behind-the-scenes content, it might still find an audience. But they must now be transparent and authentic in their marketing, no more teasers or misdirections. Clark's rejection of Unrivaled is a pivotal moment not only for the league but for women's sports as a whole. It underscores the challenges of building new leagues, even when there's star power and a solid concept. The $2 million offer was groundbreaking, but the fact that it wasn't enough to convince someone like Clark shows how much work is still needed to achieve equity in women's sports. The pay gap and the perceived risk of joining an unproven league are still barriers that need to be addressed. While Unrivaled is certainly facing an uphill battle, it's not over yet.
Now, Unrivaled did the funniest thing last night that got a lot of us hooked in.
How they respond to this setback and adapt to the changing landscape of women's basketball will determine whether they can carve out a niche for themselves or become a cautionary tale in sports history. Caitlin Clark's decision to turn down Unrivaled has become a significant talking point, especially after the league heavily marketed itself with the assumption that she would be the centerpiece. Their teaser campaign, built around her jersey number 22 and cryptic promotional videos, created the impression that Clark's participation was a foregone conclusion. But when the roster was revealed, her name was conspicuously absent, and ESPN dropped the bombshell that Clark had chosen not to join. This left fans feeling misled, with the league's carefully crafted marketing strategy backfiring in spectacular fashion. Unrivaled had long teased its big announcements with mysterious hints and Easter eggs, leaving fans guessing about which stars would sign on. But when Clark's name was conspicuously left out of the roster reveal, the excitement turned into frustration. Fans felt betrayed, as the hype built around her had led them to believe she was already on board. The promise of Clark was central to Unrivaled's marketing, and without her, the league faces a serious credibility crisis. The money offered to Clark was groundbreaking in women's sports. Reports suggest that Unrivaled offered Clark $2 million for just 10 weeks of play, $200,000 per week, a figure that is significantly higher than the average WNBA salary, which is around $120,000 per year. On top of the salary, Clark was also offered equity in the league, making her not just a player, but a potential owner. This is a unique and attractive offer, especially for an athlete as marketable and influential as Clark. Given how lucrative this deal was, it's surprising that she walked away from it. But there are several factors that could have influenced her decision. One possible reason is timing. Clark's schedule is already packed, with endorsement deals, public appearances, and other commitments. Adding a 10-week league to her calendar, especially one with the logistical and emotional demands of a startup league, might have been too much. Furthermore, Unrivaled season would overlap with major events like NBA All-Star Weekend, where Clark is rumored to be making an appearance. Given the immense pressure and potential distractions, Clark may have opted to focus on her existing opportunities, which are stable and lucrative. While timing is one factor, some insiders speculate that Clark's decision reflects deeper concerns about the Unrivaled league itself. Launching a new sports league is never easy, and for a league like Unrivaled, focused on a fast-paced 3-on-3 format, the risk of failure is high. Clark is not just an athlete, she is a brand with major endorsements from companies like State Farm and other high-profile partnerships. She has built a solid reputation and legacy in traditional basketball, so joining an untested league might not have made sense from a brand-building perspective. Moreover, the uncertainty surrounding the league's future could have been a significant concern. Offering Clark equity in the league sounds appealing, but what if Unrivaled fails to gain traction or folds after a season or two? As an athlete with a long-term career ahead of her, Clark may have decided that it wasn't worth the risk,